2359 First Siege. Kai and Slayer had little time to get used to their new power. Granted, Slayer had not required time for adjustment at all. She simply took the change that had happened to her because of the boon of Ash in stride, as if remembering something she already knew instead of coming to terms with something new. Then again, she wasn't very expressive, so it was hard to tell what was on her mind. Why am I always surrounded by stoic women? Sunny chuckled. Perhaps it was neither good luck nor bad luck, but simply a sign of the times. Considering the world they all lived in and the horrors Awakened faced, it was really not that surprising that there were a lot of strong, silent types walking around. Couldn't be me. Kai, meanwhile, had spent the few hours left until sunrise training. He performed a variety of exercises and shot his bow hundreds of times, slowly getting used to his newfound strength. Sunny observed him, feeling like he was watching an intricate masterpiece of a machine tune itself to perfection. Then, the sky in the east finally brightened, and as the violent winds howled in the distance, a familiar snowstorm enveloped the world. Plumes of snow stretched toward the fuming volcano like tentacles, ready to turn into glass bridges as soon as the first ray of sunlight spilled over the horizon. Sunny inhaled deeply. Get ready. He felt a bit of trepidation in his heart. This time, they were going to be attacked by 3 figures of the snow domain, a cursed demon, a cursed beast, and a pack of great beasts. Therefore, he had to split his forces to face all 3 threats simultaneously. Slayer and a number of obsidian wasps would be defending the north slope of the volcano against the snow wolves. Kai and the Shadow of Abundance would defend the east slope against the clockwork giant. Sunny and the rest of his shades were going to face the cursed demon on the southern side of the mountain. The odds were not in their favor, but thankfully, they did not have to defeat their fearsome enemies. All Sunny and his companions really had to do was hold the enemy back until the dawn exhausted itself. That said, Sunny had no intention of choosing a passive strategy. Only death was waiting for them that way. True, they could simply hold the enemy back, but that would simply mean facing the same threat tomorrow. And by tomorrow, their power would be diminished, they would be wounded, lacking essence, with fewer shades to help them in battle. The burden of consecutive battles would only mount after that, and sooner or later, it would crush them. So, Sunny had to finish today's battle, and every battle after that, in a way that would leave him more powerful than he had been yesterday. That meant removing at least 1 snow figure off the board, or better yet all of them. If he managed that, there would be new shades in his slowly growing army, and new jade figurines for his companions to sacrifice. Let's hope things go according to plan. Sunny had an ace hidden up his sleeve, naturally, the grand enchantment he had woven into the mountain. But there were certain conditions that had to be met for his sorcery to work, and both he and his companions would have to work hard in order to make sure that it delivered the desired result. Which was complete and utter annihilation, of course. What do you think, guys? Will we convince the snow tyrant not to underestimate us too much? He looked at the obsidian wasps that surrounded him from both sides. Considering their size, Sunny had to crane his neck a little to look at their expressionless, gem-like eyes. Their eyes were huge and compound, so he could see hundreds of his reflections staring back at him. It was a good thing that Mordred wasn't around. In any case, the wasps did not respond, making him sigh in disappointment. I mean, who does that bastard take me for? Sending a mere demon and 2 beasts to kill me, how humiliating. He forced out an unconvincing smile. Of course, Sunny knew that the snow tyrant was probably not trying to kill him seriously today. Rather, today's battle was merely meant to wound and exhaust the ash tyrant until the true elites of the snow domain arrived, the devils, the monsters. The coming days would be quite eventful, to say the least. This was one more reason why Sunny had to destroy as many snow figures as he could this morning. The Shrine of Truth could only be attacked from 3 directions, but that did not mean that it could only be attacked by 3 figures. If more of them occupied the surrounding peaks, there could be up to 10 horrors attacking the fuming volcano at the same time. Actually, it was a bit peculiar that the snow tyrant had not employed that strategy already. So peculiar, in fact, that Sunny was starting to suspect that being able to bring several figures to a single square was a unique privilege of the tyrants. After all, Slayer and Kai had never remained on a mountain without him. That was something to consider, at least. As Sunny did just that, the snow plumes finally solidified into ethereal bridges of glistening glass. The golden light of dawn washed over the sea of clouds. It looked just as dreamlike and gorgeous as ever, but Sunny was in no mood to appreciate gorgeousness. Instead, He watched chillingly as a vast protuberance seemed to extend from the milky wall of the snowstorm, as if the blizzard itself was crossing the glass bridge. That was the cursed demon coming to kill him under the cover of swirling snow. Ah, hell! Summoning the helmet of the jade mantle, Sunny reached into the shadows and pulled a black odachi from them. The obsidian wasps seemed to tremble a little, as if shivering in the cold. 2,360 leader of the pack. On the other side of the mountain, Slayer had begun her barrage. The pack of great beasts was rushing across the bridge, turning into billowing streams of snow from time to time. Sunny was not sure what attributes the grotesque wolves possessed, but they seemed quite elusive. He did not sense any new shades entering his soul, at least, which meant that none of them had been slain by the arrows. On the eastern slope of the volcano, Kai sent an arrow flying, as well. Sunny heard it fly. This one was quite unique, having been crafted specifically for the charming archer. Its enchantment allowed him to imbue the arrowhead with sound, which allowed Kai to record his commands and deliver them from a distance. In other words, the arrow carried his mystical voice. Far away, the clockwork giant had already stepped onto the glass bridge. The singing arrow struck him square in the chest, and powerlessly bounced away, not dealing the cursed beast any damage. That was just as Sunny had expected. Empowered by the boon of Ash and Sunny's own deathly will, Kai might have been able to wound some other cursed being. But the brass giant glanced like a thing that had been created specifically to be sturdy and resilient, practically indestructible. Sunny had known that this particular adversary would be too tough to be pierced by arrows, enchanted or not. That was the very reason why he had sent Slayer to fight the snow wolves. The nature of the malevolent training dummy made it impervious to most of her arsenal. In fact, it was probably impervious to most anything, which was why Kai with his rattling sonic attacks in abundance with its sheer mass were a better choice. Even if they were not able to destroy the cursed beast, they would at least be able to stall him. Sunny was not at all ashamed to use the easy, but effective powers of abundance to his advantage. A dumb meat shield was a perfect foil for an indestructible adversary. He was actually most worried about himself. Unlike his two companions, Sunny did not try to attack the snow demon on the bridge. He just waited patiently, watching as the blizzards rushed toward the volcano at great speed. Ah, this thing just had to go and make me angry. Sunny had not felt any personal animosity toward the cursed demon before seeing it advance just now. That was because any creature using a veil of snow as cover reminded him of Winter Beast. And although Sunny had already killed the Titan, he still carried quite a lot of spite toward it and its ilk in his heart. Come here, then. Finally, the billowing mass of snow reached the slope of the volcano and enveloped it in bitter cold. This was Sunny's territory, though. This was his domain. As soon as the blizzard, and the thing hiding within it, reached the ashen ground, the shadows surged. Darkness swallowed the entire southern side of the volcano, and the ash rose into the air, mixing with the snow. The ash remained, but the snow turned black and melted, disappearing without a trace. Even the cold winds were suffocated. In a matter of seconds, the blizzard was no more. And once it was gone, the wraith that had been hiding within it was revealed, standing motionlessly in the hurricane of ash. Sunny smiled darkly. Unexpected. What faced him was a frozen corpse. It was the corpse of an enormous wolf, its rotten fur as white as snow. There were innumerable crude spears sticking out of its desiccated hide like a palisade, the spearheads carved roughly from flint and obsidian. The cursed monstrosity had 3 eyes, each burning with malevolent, crimson flames. The sight of them reminded Sunny of the primordial hunter Jet had slain once, an eternity ago, in front of the Nightmare Gate in NQSC. That gate guardian had worn a skill with 3 empty eyes as a helmet, too. Sunny had suspected that most of the nightmare creatures trapped in Ariel's game had been collected by the demons in the frozen wastelands west of the Jade Palace. If so, he could imagine the corpse of the appalling wolf being encased in ice after dying to the spears of the primordial humans of the bygone era, only to become possessed by a malevolent spirit thousands of years later and emerge from it as a vengeful wraith. Had it been an appalling predator who hunted primal humans and feasted on their flesh? Had it been a guardian spirit of a human tribe whom the hunters from a different one had slain to eradicate the adversary? Had it hunted alone, or had it led other predators like a bestial deity? Slayer was fighting the pack of wolves on the northern slope of the volcano right now, but this one might have been the leader of the pack. Or possibly their god. In any case, Sunny was going to have to face this primordial horror in battle. The 3 harrowing eyes of the wolf glanced at Sunny, and he felt his very soul shiver and shudder under their gaze. The pressure that descended upon him was suffocating, and he felt something that he had not felt in a long time. A primal, utterly irrational, overwhelming fear rising to drown his wildly beating heart. The fear that prey instinctively felt when facing a predator. Sunny scoffed. Hey, you, who do you think you are? He took a step forward, walking between the obsidian wasps. Then, he pointed to the ground with the tip of his odachi. This here is my volcano. So, I suggest you tuck your tail and run. Instead of answering, the cursed demon lowered itself to the ground and let out a dreadful growl. Sunny felt a cold shiver run down his spine, and his very soul shook, as if straining to remain intact. He was quite certain that this malevolent growl alone could have snuffed out the souls of many humans of a lesser rank, mundane people, awakened, possibly even masters. Saints would be left paralyzed and writhing in agony after being exposed to this malice. He grimaced. Very well, come closer, then, I'll give you the honor of becoming the second god I've slain.